Wow. So what a development here. What a development here. This is under the radar for a lot of people, but it hasn't been to me, and I've been thinking about this in the last couple of days, and that's Sam Leavitt. You look at these numbers here that Sam has. He's a state champion. He threw for 44 touchdowns. He's a kid from Portland, Oregon, Westland High School. A kid who's really been overlooked this entire process. Last year, he was, a mid three-star quarterback. He's still a three-star right now. And he really didn't have any offers but Washington State, and he was a stud last year. He's one of the best deep ball throwers in this class. Now he's added an element of continued athleticism, and you guys are going to watch this tape with me, and we're just going to see how just gifted and talented Sam Leavitt is and how tough of a kid that he can be. And I just think that the potential of Sam Leavitt, I think he's been the most underrated quarterback that I can remember in recent memory. Because to me, he's a five-star talent. If Walker Howard is a five-star talent, there's not a lot of difference between him and Walker Howard. I mean, this throw right here is just biblical. It's incredible. Throws it from his own end zone, down the field perfectly, about 55 yards. Barely kind of steps into it. So he could flick it about 65, 70 yards. This is even before he's going to put on weight. So, here I can nitpick him, right? Because he should step up into the pocket there. Should be up into the pocket. Now, people could point to his competition as being a question, but you just look at the flick of the wrist, the amount of touch that he can put on the deep ball. The guy just controls the football. He controls the football like no other when he's throwing it. And now here he's actually going to utilize his legs, and he's going to burn people. And in the Big Ten Conference, he can burn people. And he was committed to Washington State for the longest time, but then guess what happened? Eric Morris went home to Texas. Eric Morris got a job offer at North Texas and Denton, Texas. Okay, and Eric Morris is the guy that really Sam Leavitt wanted to work with because Eric Morris was going to be a guy, right? You know what Eric Morris was going to be? Eric Morris is a guy that's from the Cliff Kingsbury tree. Eric Morris can be a freaking stud in college football. Eric Morris is an offensive coordinator that was literally working with Patrick Mahomes and said to Sam Leavitt, hey, you're probably going to be Patrick Mahomes. You have the same, skill sets as Caleb Williams, as Patrick Mahomes. You're going to come up here with Cam Ward, and we're going to put up just stupid numbers after Cam Ward leaves. Well, what ends up happening is that, first off, Washington State is always in, kind of disarray. What conference is Washington State going to be in? They've gone for like 2 or 3 coaches in the past couple of years. So Sam Leavitt now is a Michigan State Spartan. All right? That's what's happening now. Sam Leavitt is going to Michigan State University. All right? And you just look at the talent that this guy possesses. He can move. He's 6'1", he's tall enough, and he can throw the ball on a line, on a rope. He throws ropes. He's one of the few quarterbacks where his football just cuts through the air and he throws ropes. If you're talking about a talented quarterback, I'm not sure that maybe outside of Malachi Nelson, Nico is a bigger kid, Dante Moore. This guy is right up there with some of the top quarterbacks in this class to me. He reminds me of Bo Nix, and Bo Nix, of course, was super highly touted as well. He makes tight window throws, and he makes it easy. Now, he's going to a place with Jay Johnson, who's not my favorite offensive coordinator. He's going to a place that historically and recently has, outside of Jaron Reed, has not had great quarterback play or great offensive play. Kenny Walker was a guy. Ken Walker was a guy who did that. Connor Cook, you could say, for a little bit. Kirk Cousins way back. But he gets to play in the Big Ten. You have Caden Hauser there, so you have a really interesting room of really talented quarterbacks. Caden Hausen is exactly the same way. Like, he has wow tape style throws. I just think that Leavitt has even more movement skills. Right now it's Peyton Thorne. Peyton Thorne's going to have to hold on to his spot, and then it's going to be an absolute dogfight in camp between Caden Housen and Sam Leavitt. So is he going to the best place to get developed? Like, I'd argue like him going to Texas Tech would be, the best situation. Washington, him going to Arizona State with Kenny Dillingham would be a great situation. Him going to Kansas State with Colin Klein would be a great situation. He's going to a school that I really like in Mel Tucker, but do they have the right guys offensively, the right pieces? I mean, the culture of Michigan State, you want to play for a guy like Mel Tucker. This kid is just so talented, and if Peyton Thorne doesn't step it up and has a year like he did last year, and also I'm also not sure why Nebraska didn't look at a kid like Sam Leavitt either, because Sam Leavitt would have really fit in Lincoln. He really would have fit the Marcus Satterfield offense because, Spencer Rattler and this kid is a similar size and height. But you just look at how the kid can stick it in you look at how he can stick it in the tight windows and his arm talent. It's just outrageous. And this whole tape is just freaking awesome. I mean, even last year, Sam Leavitt had the prettiest deep ball out of any quarterback. Now he's added an element of supreme athletic and dual threat ability, which is why he's going up the ranks. This is a kid, very under-recruited, chip on his shoulder guy, and he goes to the ultimate chip on the shoulder place. The ultimate, we don't have the, we're not Michigan, we're Michigan State. We're the grittier school in the state. We're the school that's, built on really, really, kind of more like physical tough work than maybe like a Michigan is. The Michigan kids are spoiled. We're Michigan State, we're tough. We're considered little brother. We have to work for everything. We weren't just handed everything. That's how the Michigan State rivalry is. Michigan State is the blue-collar place, kind of like Mississippi State and Mississippi. And Michigan is the belle of the ball. And Michigan State's like over here saying, hey, the scrappy little guy like saying, hey, look at me. I could be just as good. That is the relationship between Michigan and Michigan State. And I like this offense. I wonder, though, if you're Mel Tucker. I wonder, he's staying loyal to Jay Johnson. He probably has the same philosophies on football and on life and values as Jay Johnson. But is it going to be applicable? So Oregon also decides to get Dante Moore. Washington State doesn't really recruit. UCLA is not really recruiting Sam either. Probably just a small school guy. Small school up there in the Pacific Northwest. A big credit to Michigan State for swooping in because he didn't want to play in the American. He could have went to North Texas. He honestly could have put up huge numbers probably at North Texas and played immediately, which is very interesting about this process. But he wants to play at Michigan State. And I'm sure Michigan State throughout this process had they probably had some good NIL or some really good selling points. I'm really excited to see this kid play. Just like Caden Housen had some of the best throws last year, this kid has some of the best throws you'll see on tape. So he has movement skills. I think he's really good. He's just not the biggest guy in the world at 6'1". Doesn't play at the biggest high school. But just in terms of him throwing the football, he has some of the best highlights you're going to see. Can really put it in the tight windows, can really run the football. The deep ball is impeccable. Probably even lost some wide receiver talent. And he's playing at a new high school actually this year. And you just look at how he plays out, and he really just can play the position. And he's got that quick trigger that you look for. So a huge, huge recruit, Sam Leavitt, going to Michigan State.